Hey everyone, this is Tom Lord, and with me today is the fabulous Chris Lyas Drake, the water girl Brandy James, and the man who fits the bill, Phil Lantry. And we're going to talk a little bit about the county. Alright, so the county logo. As you probably know, we put up a poll about the county logo. 1,210 people voted in that poll, and it wasn't even close. Overwhelmingly, 89.8% of the people that voted hate the logo. 1.9% love it, and 8.3% couldn't give a. Okay, Chris, why don't you start us off? What are your thoughts about the logo? I mean, I think it's not the logo itself that bothers us so much. I think there's different aspects to the whole thing.
Sure.
So.
Well, for me, I'm a huge history buff. I like history. I like culture. I think that if you're going to do something reminiscent of the history of the county, or you want to represent the county, I think the history of this county is pretty neat. My ancestors didn't really participate. We came over here, and I'm only 2 generations strong completely in the United States. So my family was not down here, unfortunately. But coming from a city where history is huge and is represented everywhere, I kind of like the culture that they had in the original logo. And my mom used to be the payroll supervisor for the county, so we had a lot of that in our house growing up, was that logo when we did move here.
Nostalgic.
Yeah, and I think, for me personally, I think the money could have been better spent. That's number one. I'm about money too. Like, we're recovering from a pandemic. I feel like there's so much in our county that's changed over the years that really it could have been reallocated in some way to help the community. That's number one. Number two, I don't think it's the ugliest logo I've ever seen. It's got purple in it, which is my favorite color. But would I have changed it? No, I wouldn't have. One thing I will say that I personally didn't like was, I didn't like how the person who, I guess they posted that he was part of the change of the logo, he said it's better than Cowboys. And I think that's very disrespectful. And I think because Cowboys were a huge part of this community growing up, and I don't think there's anything negative about being a cowboy. I think if that's your culture and that's your profession, I think that's pretty honorable. I mean, it's just as honorable to me as somebody who's a police officer, or there's a need for everybody.
Food on your table?
Yeah, there's a need for everybody in the community. So I don't understand what being a cowboy is negative. Not every.
And I believe that our part of Osceola County is still one of the largest producers of cattle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the statistic
Behind Texas.
Well, I had told you that I had read a long time ago, and when we were in school, we did Florida history. It was one of the classes I took at Oak Ridge before I came to St. Cloud. And one of the things was the state of Texas was #1 for cattle production, and then Osceola County was #2 behind the entire state of Texas. And I have to say that put us on the map. I mean, we had the biggest rodeo east of the Mississippi, or I don't know if it still is. It used to be the biggest rodeo east of the Mississippi.
Yeah, I believe it still is.
And if I'm not, correct me, I'm okay with that. But I don't see the point of erasing a positive history. I guess that's just my kind of point on it. What's your thoughts?
I fall more into the category of one of those people who don't really give a I think it could have been done better. Mm-hmm. I think that there was a way to modernize the logo without taking all of the history out of it. I think that the way that the logo being changed was done was shady and lacked a lot of thought and input from the community, which I think is what people are mostly frustrated with. Mm-hmm. And I think since the logo and the outcry, the way that Brandon Arrington has handled himself is absolutely atrocious. And I really have no words to the things that I've witnessed him say. It's just crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. And I mean, like I said, I don't mind the new logo. I like the old logo.
Yeah.
But the way the whole situation was handled is what really frustrates me.
Right.
Yeah, and
I can see that.
That's kind of where I'm coming from. Is like, you would think that Osceola County would have learned a lesson from St. Cloud, because St. Cloud did the same thing. Mm-hmm. They did a drastic change to the logo. Mm-hmm. They didn't really get community input. They say they did, okay, but they do focus groups. They reach out to their friends, and it's the exact same thing that happened with Osceola County. They had a focus group based on the commissioner's friends, mm-hmm. and they were the ones that provided the input towards this logo. And that bothers me.
Another reason probably that pushed me to being a little about it is the fact that I saw people going out and literally standing on the side of the road protesting a logo
Yeah.
when we have far bigger issues going on in this county that people don't give a crap about. Where are the people protesting, coming to meetings with us, complaining about the water?
Right.
I'm sorry, I mean, obviously that doesn't affect all of Osceola County, so the people, the amount of people is smaller, but I'm sorry.
What about our homeless situation? We have a lot of homeless folks.
Like, come on, if you're gonna be that vocal about a logo because they took a cowboy out, I mean.
What about not allowing people to speak at the county
That's huge.
commission meetings?
Yeah.
That's huge.
You know, about whatever is on their mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's huge.
You know,
That's huge.
I was thinking about that too. You know, when I found out about that because of the logo, I have been thinking recently to go a step further with the water issue and go to Don Fisher directly, or go to the council, the county commissioners directly about the water and get them involved, because that's their problem too, whether they like it or not, and they haven't said a word about it. But now I'm like, well, I'm going to write a letter and they're going to maybe read it.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for me.
Right.
So I'll find other avenues to get their attention.
Well,
okay.
I think you hit the nail on the head for me too. That's another issue. You lose the voice as a resident. I mean, we pay taxes, we pay money. This is huge. You know, that's a huge. You have one of the most valid points yet.
Yeah, and then back to the logo. I don't think it's out of the realm of, you know, possibility, or I don't think it's a bad thing for a municipality to explore other options for a logo.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that they really missed an opportunity here to reach out to the community and get their input. I mean, there's how many schools here in Osceola County that they could have reached out to and had students design, you know, logos, you know, contests. They could have had residents.
Well, that's like.
I mean, and you know, how many marketing firms that we have right here locally that they could have reached out to that could have even facilitated that for the county.
Yeah.
And at least then you have input from residents, and you can say, hey, this was the direction that people were wanting and going.
Absolutely.
And it just seems that, you know, the way that it was designed and the way that they revealed it and everything, it had no public input.
It was lackluster.
And my other concern is, you know, just with logos in general, you know, I'm not like a professional graphic designer or anything, but you look at, you know, some of the most popular logos out there, you know, Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and things like that. Now these logos have some color in them, but usually they're a single color, right?
Yeah.
And that's so that they can stand in any color. You know, if it were on a shirt, or one place where you see the county logo all over is on garbage cans, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how is this logo going to stand out in a single color? Is it going to be discernible as the same logo?
That's a good point.
You know, because it usually when you do something like that, it has to stand in one single color, black or white or red or whatever it be, and you can't necessarily get the same feel from the logo in a single color, especially because, you know, you've got different colors around this O that they've made in there, and
I agree with you 100%, Phil. I think one of the other things is too, it's an O. We live in Orlando, which is in Orange County, which is our neighbor. It's O. When people see Central Florida and they think of O, they don't think Osceola County.
They think Orlando.
They think of Orlando or Orange County. You know, I don't know. It doesn't really lend anything to Osceola County. And as a huge touristy county, a huge tourist, you know, driven county, I think it could have been a lot more inviting is maybe the best term.
And everybody was talking about the description of why they chose this logo. Everybody's like, go read the description. It tells you exactly why. Well, no one that's coming to visit here is going to go read the whole page of description of why they chose a logo. I'm sorry. That just doesn't work.
and honestly, I don't have a problem with it as a logo. And like you said, I just don't feel that it quite fits the heritage and the history and the what Osceola County is, even today. I mean, it's a lot more than what's shown in that logo, and I think that it was some opportunities were lost in the creation of it. And the biggest issue, like I said, for me is that why spend all that money to an out of state company? You know, I mean, we've
We
got.
have huge amount.
Yeah, I mean, the idea here is support local, right?
Right, absolutely.
I mean, it should be.
Well, that's what your tax base is.
Well, I mean, John Arguello, you know, is a school board member, and he's come out since hearing the outcry and said, hey, let's do a contest, let's have the kids do it. And he is offering $500 of his own money in scholarship just to see what they can do.
We have some friends amongst us, you know, a lot of mutual friends, and one of our friends' child drew up a logo and they put it up, and I was like, oh my God. First of all, I thought it was great because it gives them a voice early and it lets them know what their opinion is in the community should be important. So I really like that idea. The second thing is it's anything to promote education, which I think is phenomenal. But one of our friends in particular, Kira's son, put up this really cute little logo. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's the cutest thing ever. And I was like, I love to see these kids in their imagination. And
Well,
it was
it also gets
so
them
adorable.
excited about where they live
It does.
too, you know?
It does.
And with that excitement comes wonder and wanting to know more, you know? So there's so many different aspects to just having kids draw up a logo.
Plus, this is our future.
Yeah.
So to get these kids excited about their community
Early
and
on.
what's going on in their community, I mean, these could be our future leaders.
Absolutely. Who
And
knows
some
if
of them will be, without a doubt.
What if we have the next county commissioner, you know, drawing this up? And, you know, I think it's great. I don't know. I
In
love
20
it.
years, he's like, I'm the one that made that
Yeah,
logo.
that's
you
my
know?
logo. That's my logo. I mean, I think it's really neat. But I love that idea. When I saw John Arguello post that, I thought.
I know we had briefly discussed doing that even before John had come
Yeah.
out.
We'll
So
do the St. Cloud logo.
yeah.
Maybe
So-
we'll have 2 county logos after that.
I like that. There's always room for improvement, right? And then
Yeah.
I like to see the little minds grow. I like to see the little minds get involved. And I like to see, you know, the kids, it shows them that they have a voice in their community and starting them off early with, you know, with getting involved. I like it. I like it a lot.
It was definitely a missed opportunity by the county commission. And, you know, I think they suspected they were gonna get some backlash from this logo because, I don't know if you saw it, but the last, county commission meeting, Commissioner Booth said that they were holding this logo back. They had it for almost, 6 months. And they were holding it back so it could be unveiled at the state of the county address. So they already knew what it looked like, they knew what it was gonna be, and then they put it out there, waited till that.
To me, if that's accurate, then last year during the pandemic, when there were so many things and so many questions, that every single person was experiencing something new, because to the best of my knowledge, the majority of people alive right now have never been through a pandemic of such. That's kind of where their thoughts and concerns were. That's just, you know, for me, I don't know. Like I said, I just personally, going into Kissimmee and Osceola County now, I see so many things that we can improve in our community to make the quality of life so much better, that it's disappointing to me to see that we spent the money towards that. That's just my biggest, that's my biggest concern personally. You know, and I know people are gonna say, well, they can't reallocate. You can always reallocate. We went through a pandemic.
Depends on if you want to do the work to get it done.
Yeah, well,
Right.
we went through a pandemic, so like not, you know, that's extenuating circumstances in my opinion. I mean, you know, like when we suffered through other events like hurricanes and things like that, we've been able to shuffle some things around. So, and like Phil said, you know, give the community a voice.